The pandemic definitely has an impact on every industry, construction being one of them. Whether construction companies and organizations and businesses will use more technology to create favorable circumstances and accelerate the pace of business, accelerate recovery, is to be seen because technology adoption has its own path. It has its own process and it cannot be accelerated more than it can. Now, here's some interesting things that have happened because of this COVID-19 pandemic across the board. The adoption of virtual conferencing or video conferencing has skyrocketed, and we all know that everybody's remotely connecting to each other. People are having meetings remotely. And so some part of digital transformation has definitely accelerated. Now, will this change accelerate in other areas of business, process implementation, adoption of blockchain, adoption of 3D printing? There's so many different things that technology brings. I believe when it comes to collaboration, communication, breaking down barriers, for sure, it has definitely accelerated that already, and it might keep on going forward in that direction because of the pure value that organizations and construction companies, vendors, providers, governments have seen because of technology. When it comes to the larger buckets, for example, adopting to the cloud or moving infrastructure to the cloud, these are things that companies have typically waited a long time for, or it's a bigger decision. But it might push companies, the COVID-19 might push companies to making that decision faster because it creates more efficiency. I think in the end, it would really depend on how leadership of different companies and organizations and industries really takes charge and ownership when they come back and say, hey, these are the strategic steps that we absolutely must take. And that's what organizations should be doing right now when there aren't any face-to-face meetings, when there aren't any conventions happening. This is the best time to create that post-pandemic strategy. My personal opinion on whether these centers of excellence will become smaller, more distributed, or many more of them will come up is actually, I don't think so. 2020, by a greater part of 2020, until the end of the year, organizations and companies and construction companies, we're still going to figure out the slump that's been created in the market, how to recover from it, how to drive sales, how to drive, get rid of that inventory that construction companies and builders are sitting on right now. So sales is going to be a big point for any company that's in the region, especially to come back. 2021 is going to be again about recovery because the losses that COVID-19 has created, quite realistically, it's going to take us at least 6 months to a year to come to a position where we can breathe easy and say, hey, we're actually in a better place. So I see 2021 full of the recovery process, companies putting more money into sales processes, marketing, making things more efficient, maybe creating more incentives and pushing buyers to come back to the region when travel opens up and all these good things happen, conventions come back. So the push really will be around getting people back in the market. Now, how much of an effort will organizations make to make things efficient? I don't think it will be significant because it'll all be about sustaining the business, keeping the recovery ongoing. Now, at a strategic level, yes, the leadership of many construction companies and organizations might say, hey, during COVID-19, we had an amazing time. We had a lot of productivity, but think about it. When everybody can go to work, people will, I think, prefer, employees and people who have to be on the floor selling, doing all these different things to be actually there because that's the need of the hour. Long term, I do see a little bit more impact on productivity where we can have remote teams, remote centers of excellence, different models when it's about strategy, but tactically, no. Tactically, I don't believe so. So talking specifically about the Middle East, the UAE, the Dubai market or the Abu Dhabi market or the region in general, I don't see a lot of technology investments right away, but there are larger builders who are looking into creating innovative models of sales. For example, a tokenization of buildings or apartments, tokenization of properties where it's easier for people to get into a property and buy it and invest in it rather than invest a huge sum of money that they're probably holding on right now, looking at the markets how they are. So technology can definitely help. Dubai is the blockchain center of one of the blockchain centers of the world. A lot of blockchain development in Dubai, but will that really translate into industry? I think it will depend on how different ecosystems come together, how the construction industry starts working with the tech sector in Dubai. There's a lot of push of artificial intelligence in Dubai, but there aren't many use cases between AI and development of buildings. So I don't, it would be far-fetched to say AI will do something. I don't think AI will do anything. 3D printing is coming up in Dubai. You know, they're pushing it. Everybody's working on it. But I don't think the large builders are interested in 3D printing right now, because it's more an experimental thing right now. It's more on pushing the boundaries of research and innovation. I think for the industry, for builders who already have inventory, who already have buildings constructed, they're looking at occupancy. They have a different problem to deal with than builders who are planning the next project to come, to start in 2022 or 2025. I think it's two different sets of problems or opportunities they have. So some of the opportunities that are open in the region, especially in the UAE, are that the UAE continues to be a very stable place to hold business, to conduct business. We saw the government of Dubai, the government of the UAE in general, responded really aggressively to the whole pandemic crisis, to COVID-19, to the fact that it was showcased across the world, across different TV channels, and the aggressive stance that the government took to control COVID-19. Of course, despite that, there were some cases and they continued to work on that. But the response of the UAE government was one of the strongest, one of the best in the world. That just goes to showing that the UAE is a great place to live. It's a great place to set up your business. Many free zones are open that offer incentives for companies to register and companies to conduct their business, have their headquarters, regional offices. So I think as a place to do business, Dubai and the UAE continues to flourish. And that's one thing that makes it very attractive globally. The weather is amazing. The cities are amazing. Infrastructure is really great. Cities are becoming smarter. Technology is everywhere. Accessibility is really great. So those are all good factors when it comes to opportunities. Now, some of the drawbacks or some of the things that at a city level or at a regional level that we still need to work on is opening up the cities to doing ease of business. Because at the end of the day, that's what impacts, or that's what stops people from coming to Dubai or other places, is how easily can I conduct business? Solving the technology infrastructure communication problem that exists with VoIP, with open availability of communication. And I think those are smaller things that are being looked at right now. But I think opportunity-wise, the more business that is attracted, the more organizations and companies that are attracted to Dubai and the region, the more the region will benefit. Of course, the UAE is also one of the biggest destinations for events and conferences. And I think that those people need to be called back after COVID-19. And we need to show the world that the UAE is really a safe place to conduct business. Last but not least, Expo 2020, which was expected to happen this year, is also a great opportunity where almost every country from the world is coming together and staying in the UAE for about 6 months' time. And so building towards Expo 2020 and using that to attract companies, I think will fuel the construction industry, will take rentals market up, will create, solve the occupancy problem in the region, and of course open the doors to innovation and testing things such as 3D printing and using blockchain technology and AI technology in the construction world. One of the things I want to mention last but not least, Stuart, is the evolution of smart cities. Globally, many cities are innovating, putting technology into infrastructure, into buildings, into hospitals, into roads and garbage cans in the city infrastructure. And I think Dubai is already doing that. So Dubai is also becoming a very technology city. Masdar is a great example of a smart city. So there's a lot happening when it comes to smart city development, which makes it a better place for people to live in because of the infrastructure that's out there. I have no doubts that the region will bounce back from COVID-19.